In this section, we're going to introduce a few concepts. First, we're going to give you a little bit of an Agile quiz to see what kind of experience you have with that. And then we'll talk about what a product manager, product leader does, what they look like in an organization.
Successful customer integration with Agile development. To get started, we want to talk about four things: Agile IQ, product leader role, Agile and Lean, and what disconnected product spheres are and what it means to you. So let's test your Agile IQ. The DMV spent $135 million in California on an upgrade before it was finally canceled. So this is definitely not Agile. And if they would do it in a more incremental fashion, they would have discovered what the problems were a lot earlier, maybe not spend so much money. Maybe it would make sense to cancel, but you cancel it way before you spend that much money. On the second one, San Diego signed a 40-year tourism marketing package with local hotels. So talk about iteration cycle. This is a glacial timing. San Diego could be underwater in 40 years. So it was absurd that somebody would sign something and put something in concrete for that long. Definitely not Agile. And the last one, SpaceX used off-the-shelf hardware and updated their manufacturing techniques to successfully launch payloads into orbit. And it was basically the same thing that NASA could do. The difference is they did it at a fraction of the cost. So that was where the innovation came from. And that, in my opinion, is what made it Agile, because they borrowed things and didn't reinvent the wheel when they were creating their rockets. So this training is primarily based on the perspective of a product leader. So within a company, the actual title for this role could be a founder, CEO, product manager, product owner, business analyst, developer, designer, SME. It earns this name because the role is central to building a product and because they are the drivers of what the product is. If there's any doubt about the product leader's importance, take a look at this slide. They are the pivot point between taking in what's needed in the market and working with the execution team to build it, spending equal time with each side. This details the interactions with other team members and the work that's needed to produce the right product. So there are multiple approaches to develop and build products. This first formula represents the Waterfall Methodology. This is how companies have traditionally built products and how some still think as the best way to create them. A big idea followed by a big build out to create an industry-leading product. Steve Jobs comes to mind here. Sometimes someone who imagines unique products what the customers don't know they want until they finally see it. And there's a lot of investment up front in order to build some of the big hardware products that the Apple's put out. Unfortunately, this product has many challenges to innovation. The main one is it's hard to replicate because great designers like Steve are rare. Second, because it takes a long time to know what the customer thinks about the product, and you need deep pockets in order to hang on for long enough to get your payout. The second model for development is called hybrid agile. It still has a big idea up front that takes a lot of time and effort to flesh out, but the product is built in small chunks. Most companies that call themselves agile use this method. There are still challenges with this because of the delayed learning that is inherent to this process. The third development model comes from a series of many smaller ideas and small builds, and the process is fully agile. All product ideas take advantage of learning from all earlier ideas, causing a deviation away from earlier concepts and ideas about what the product's going to be, but towards a receptive customer. Jeff Bezos embraces the fully agile model at Amazon. This is what he has to say about Amazon's philosophy. People who are right a lot of time are people who often change their minds. Maybe what we might not think of about people who change their mind a lot. Consistency of thought is not a particularly positive trait. Again, that might run counter to some people's thinking. And it's perfectly healthy, encouraged even, to have an idea tomorrow that contradicts your idea today. So based on this, maybe flip-flopping shouldn't have such a bad rap. The way Amazon builds their products may not be sexy, but it is realistic and repeatable with the use of specific actions that are central to this training. Now that we have an idea what Agile is, let's define Lean. Even though these terms are similar, overlap, and sometimes used interchangeably, there are slight differences. So Agile is the process from software development that is characterized by short iterations and early learning. Lean can also refer to a process with an emphasis on economy that is inherited from an Agile process. This is the customer sphere where the product leader's activities determine what goes into the product. The second sphere contains the Agile development activities where the development team takes what goes into the product from the customer sphere, fleshes it out, and then builds the product. In the traditional waterfall model, the two spheres operate mostly independently without a lot of interactions between them. The requirements are fully fleshed out and documented before it's passed on to developers. Development then builds the full product and releases it to customers. In the hybrid Agile model, there is some, but still limited interaction between the two spheres. The difference with Waterfall is that development builds and releases in small chunks to the customer. In the fully Agile model, there are many more interactions between spheres, creating a strong connection. And this training will show specific steps to integrate the customer with the Agile development sphere and attain a fully Agile build process. Product leaders will understand how to successfully integrate with an Agile development process. The Agile development team will understand the customer validation that occurs upstream and downstream of their process, what interactions to expect with the product leader, and how to take product ownership if needed. Managers and executives will understand the value of tight integration between the customer and development teams. So most of these training examples are going to be software based. However, the ideas apply to a broad range of both hardware and software products.